right, and welcome to the HODL Review right here on the chain. This is Jeff with the HODL Review again on the chain. Check us out at onthechain.io. So today's video is going to be, pretty interesting. We talked a lot about the need for real world adoption. We talk about the key there, which is utility for real world adoption, and we're talking about digital assets and adoption. We talk a lot about banks making the transition into digital asset, governments making the transition into digital asset. But when is that really going to all happen? That's what we're going to talk about today. And before we do, let me bounce over into something I thought was really interesting, which has to do with a $23,000 credit card. What's that all about? It's nothing to do with digital assets. I just thought it was interesting. So let's check that out first. Then we're going to get into how it is that banks and governments are actually adopting digital assets. So check this out. This is from the Royal Mint, established for tomorrow. They put out a lot of collectible coins, gold, etc. that they're minting. But this is something completely unique. It's called Raris, and this is what is this? This is a solid gold payment card in cooperation with Mastercard. Check this out. One of a kind, first of a kind. Solid gold, 18 karat gold credit card. I don't know, maybe Wen Moon? I have no idea. But could you imagine walking around with this in your wallet? The black card is already a metal heavy card from American Express. The platinum card is already a metal card from American Express. And now here you go. If you have too much money in your pocket, go out and buy that $23,000 credit card. That's right, that's how much it's going to cost you to own this bit of gold. Now you get limitless spending. That's awesome. You get free transaction when you're traveling internationally. You get all sorts of little perks that actually you can get with a lot of other cards. So let's see what we've got here. We got highly exclusive solid gold payment card. It's the world's first. Fully customizable and extraordinarily unique. It comes with limitless spend, zero foreign currency and no foreign currency exchange and no transaction cost. Hey, that's awesome. And it is the first payment card in the world to use source traceable metals. I don't know. It also comes with concierge service. So go check it out. I thought this was pretty cool. I don't think I'll be getting one anytime soon, but maybe there's someone out there in the group that just can't be without it. So good luck with that. All right, so again, we're talking a lot about the real-world adoption, real-world utility of digital assets. What does it all mean? Many times in our videos, we talk about the blending, merging of the digital asset exchange space, balancing into becoming banks. But here we have governments and banks actually adopting digital asset, cryptocurrency as their national currency. So what's that all about? Well, there were a couple articles that popped up in the St. Lucian News, stluciannewsonline.com, and this has to do with the Caribbean nations actually adopting digital asset as a national currency. Right now, they're running a pilot. This pilot includes Grenada, St. Kitts, and Nevis, Antigua, and St. Lucia. Now, in St. Lucia, the partner institution is actually, or also including the Bank of St. Lucia, which is really important. This is an 8-month digital currency pilot project in the Caribbean. This was announced in March, so not that long ago. Now, in March, they had this identifier to launch a digital currency with an anticipation that the project will actually be implemented by March, April of 2020 timeline. This is pretty exciting. So let's go take a look a little bit. We'll look into the article that discussed the launch, and then we'll look into exactly where they're talking about how the project is really becoming a reality. All right, so here we are, St. Lucia News Online. I don't read it that often, but this is an amazing article. I think it's really important. This was back in March. The Caribbean Association of Banks congratulates ECCB in digital currency launch. Now, what is this all about? Let's see here. The Caribbean Association of Banks, the CAB or CAB, has congratulated the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, on its decision to issue a blockchain-issued central bank digital currency, or what they're referring to as CBDC. So this is really key. This was in March. They talk about the ECCB is going to partner with Barbados-based fintech company BITT, B-I-T-T, to develop and pilot the digital Eastern Caribbean currency with a supporting digital payment and transfer infrastructure. This is really game-changing because at this point, we've seen what Ripple can do. We've seen the RippleNet solution. We've seen others discuss the payment and the cross-border transfer solutions. But here we have countries that are actually making that next step to take on a digital asset as a primary currency within the country. This is really extremely, extremely meaningful. And when we talk about real-world utility, this is what we're talking about. Now, the aim of the pilot is to ascertain the suitability of blockchain technology to help boost economic growth and competitiveness in the region, consistent with the ECCB's monetary and financial stability objectives. This is huge. Again, now they're seeing that blockchain can support more than just, movement of money, but here we're talking about economic growth, being competitive not only in their small region, but obviously competitive in a global sense. This really can bring significant change to that area. Now here it says, to that end, blockchain technology merits our attention and consideration at this time. Then they also go into discussing what's important here. The ECCB and BITT have said they will collaborate on a KYC, Know Your Customer, AML, anti-money laundering, and also CFT, which is combating the financing of terrorism, data management, compliance, and transaction monitoring system. So we know that when you move things into the blockchain, when it goes into a digital asset framework, now the question here is whether or not they even have identified the XRP ledger, and whether or not they've identified what Ripple's doing. Can they be a good foundation and network for what these countries want to accomplish? I don't even know if they're aware of it. I'd hope they're aware of it. I would hope they'd entered into some form of discussion, a conversation. But here they are trying to do a pilot, kind of do it your own, go it your own, so to speak, kind of objective here. So here again, the CAB says the Central Bank Van Curaçao and Saint Martin CBCS is also exploring the creation of a central bank-backed digital currency with BITT. So we really need to investigate BITT a little bit more, and I think we'll do that on the next video. Here now, if you fast forward to a recent article from October 11th, and that just happens to be 2 days ago, ECCU's digital currency project gains interest outside the region. So now they've been piloting, they've been getting some success, and now we need to look outside of their small region. So let's see here, we got the digital currency pilot project within the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, which is called the ECCU, is closer to becoming a reality and also gaining interest outside the region. So here we have the DXCD Caribe project, as it's being called, which we talked about, that was launched in March, seeks to reduce cash usage. We're seeing this as a trend all over the world. They want to minimize and shrink the reliance on cash fiat, on paper money. They want to move into this digital economy, and countries have different mechanisms and ways of looking at that. But obviously, moving into the blockchain, into digital currency, digital asset is probably the smartest and best way of doing it. Here, they want to reduce by 50%. That's pretty big. They want to promote greater financial sector stability, expedite growth and development of their member countries. It opens up their economy to the global economy much easier. Now, if they look at RippleNet, if they can look at what XRP could potentially do for them, I think that would be very significant. Put that aside, it doesn't matter at this point. What's significant is that they're actually implementing the very technology which is blockchain in their economy. That is just, again, it's just mind blowing where we're coming here. The ultimate goal, he says, is to include as many people as possible in the financial system. They want to become inclusive, not exclusive. So as we've talked about before, like if you go to the developing nations, a lot of time people become excluded from the economy. There's many that will remain unbanked within the digital asset space. It makes movement into the global economy, into a regional economy, much easier without being bogged down by all the antiquated tech of the banks and the costs within the banking structure. Implement new software, new features through the blockchain, and you see there could be a lot of great things happening. Here they're talking about the project will be executed in 2 phases. They have development and testing, where they are now, for about 12 months, followed by rollout and implementation in 4 pilot countries for 6 months. Wow. So you're talking about piloting for 12 months. That's great. And then actual development and testing for 12 months, followed by an actual rollout and implementation. And then they'll actually be piloting this in countries for another 6 months. So we're talking about a year and a half away for the possibility of them being fully on board with a blockchain economy. That's huge. So check out these countries. We've got Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and St. Lucia. Now in St. Lucia, again, one of their partner institutions is the Bank of St. Lucia Ltd. So this is fantastic. This is really fantastic to see something like this transitioning and happening right now in this space. So it's fantastic. Again, I mean, look at what we're looking at here. And we start this off. We're looking at people that have way too much money. They want to spend $23,000 on a credit card, get a gold credit card in their wallet. Now we have banks and governments that are talking about how can we become inclusive with all of our population to get them into an economy, potentially create some wealthy people that can go out and buy these $23,000 credit cards. So anyhow, digital assets are a reality that are changing economies. Governments know this, banks know this, and investors know this. This is a wrap with Jeff on the HODL Review right here on The Chain. Check out onthechain.io for more information. Remember to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check us out on The Chain YouTube and On The Chain Live YouTube. Check us out on Coil, check us out on Cinnamon, and soon check us out on our podcast. That's it. Again, Jeff, right here on The Chain. See you next time.